Hi there, everyone. I am Mr. McCorquodale-Bauer, and I will be your history teacher for this semester. This will be a little bit longer of a video. Generally, I try to keep my video short, but this one, bring out the popcorn. I recommend the whole household watching it together, so that then you can kind of get the sense of what this class entails. If you've already taken a class with me, then you'll have a pretty good idea. I don't change my style too much, but if you haven't taken a class with me, especially if you haven't taken an InformNet class, this is going to be a super important video that will be about 14 minutes long or so. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes. Let's get into it. Okay, so right here we got your history homepage. Just kind of like showing up to, to the foyer of the school. There'll be some important announcements here. You can schedule extra help with me here. That's about it. This right here is walking and going to class. This content, this is really what's important. Now, right now we're in my view. Your view will be slightly different. What I've done basically is I've made it so that then you work through the lessons one lesson at a time. If I just give you a textbook and say go and learn, it can be super difficult. So this way you're a little bit I don't know, you're given a hand on kind of where to go, what to do first. My course scaffolds and builds on top of itself. So, it's important to go through lesson 1, then lesson 2, then lesson 3, not just to go right to unit 5, lesson 2, There we go. So you'll see the introduction unit, introduction lesson first. This is quite important, once again, especially if you haven't taken a course with me. I've got release conditions. That's exactly what I was just talking about. You got to work your way through lessons before the next lesson comes up. Email, it's a little tricky. There's a great video in this introduction. I won't take too much time by going into the introduction or into the email in this video, because this video you should watch on your own. It's about 30-40 seconds. I stole it from Ms. Hartley, who created it, and it's fantastic. Basically, in order to email me, you have to watch it. It's tricky emailing on Brightspace. To the parents and guardians watching, you'll have my SJASD email. You can email that email. Students, everything should be within the Brightspace program. So once again, parents, guardians, email my SJASD email. Students, email within Brightspace. Watch this email or watch this video. It will explain it. Learning check-ins. Learning check-ins, basically they're just a chance for me to potentially come and make sure you're getting things. Make sure you're not using ChatGPT. Make sure, you're being honest. Make sure you're not confused. So there's many different reasons why we can have a learning check-in. It's scheduled by me, and it's just to check on your learning, how you're going through the course, how you're finding things. Maybe I see that you're struggling with something, I just want to check in. Or maybe I'm like, this sounds a lot like AI assistants, and I just want to see if you're understanding it. Generally, there won't be a penalty. Let's just go with the case that there is, you're behind. You're like, oh, that's trying to use AI. We're going to have a conversation about that as it goes. But do me a favor. Don't use ChatGPT. Don't cheat. You won't have to. My course is fun, I think. And if it isn't, let me know. It's okay. Anyway, I digress. Oh boy. Videos, I tell ya. Okay. So that's learning check-ins. Assignment submissions. So in my course, I have suggested due dates. There's no penalty if you miss a due date. What will happen if you miss a whole bunch of due dates in a row is it will become super stressful and super difficult to catch up. So don't do that. We do have a date that I will post in here that basically if you're not done a certain amount by, 3 3/4 through, if you're still like on the first lesson or first unit, I'm going to be phoning, I'm going to be emailing, sending out emails about potential course removal. It's not, once again, this is not actually a penalty. It's just that at this point on time, it will be very difficult to finish the course. So it varies from semester to semester. I'll post it nice and bold, have X amount done by this time. This is just to kind of let you know, okay, if you're not at this point, finishing the course will be near impossible. Yeah. So assignments, make sure you're keeping an eye on deadlines. Try and meet them the best you can. If you're a few days late, it's no big deal. If you are 2 months late, that's a big deal. It's going to be very difficult for you to catch up at that point. Course expectations. This is, a high school course. If you were doing a course in person and you only put 2 or 3 hours into it, 6 hours, 10 hours into it, you wouldn't have a great opportunity to really grasp what we're working on. Same thing goes for this. It should probably take you about 60 to 100 hours to complete. So that includes going through content. This is a assignment heavy course, however. I know, if I'm given a whole bunch of reading, there's a good chance I'm going to skim through it, might not retain them too much. So a lot of that 60 to 100 hours is going to be spent doing assignments. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Academic honesty, I already talked about this. Don't cheat, you won't. I believe in you. If you're having troubles with something and you find something too hard, let me know. Then we can set up a meeting, we can talk about it, and I can give you help. And generally what happens is a meeting is set up, we talk about it, and then generally students are, I see it's not as difficult as I originally thought. My expectations are that you give it your best. My expectations are not that you write 10-page papers with perfect formatting. I will talk about formatting. There's videos in this. If you struggle with formatting, that is completely okay. That's why we do it here, so that then you can struggle with it in this course, and it's no big deal. Tests, I talk about it here. My tests are open book. That's good. It's online. It's very difficult to regulate whether or not you're using your notes. So for that reason, you get to use your notes. With that being said, that means the tests are a little bit harder. They ask some difficult questions. They ask you to write some longer responses. The tests are open books, so you're allowed to use your notes. You're allowed to use the internet. But they're a little bit more difficult as you go through your lessons. Actually, I'll ask some pretty tough questions, and it's gonna ask you to write it out. Now, I know it can be pretty tempting to skip over that, but I take some of those tough questions and I put them right in a test. So make sure you go through all of the lessons. They're all there for a reason. It builds off of itself. If you skip something might be very difficult. If you go through everything, the course will make a lot more sense. Here we have all of the due dates. So that is good. Introduction, this is just a checklist. Now, let's take a look at this course itself. Basically, this entire course is based off of the 6 historical thinking concepts. Now, we're going to be working with Canadian history. We're going to start from, since time immemorial all the way to basically modern times. We're going to take a look at, pre-colonized Canada. We're going to take a look at the process of constitution as well as the process of colonization. We're going to take a look at the development of Canada's economy. We're going to take a look at how Canada participated in wars and what that did to a Canadian identity worldwide. What did that do to our economy? What did that do to our policy? We're going to take a look at multiculturalism. We're going to take a look at centralization versus decentralization. We're going to take a look at land rights and land issues. We're going to take a look at treaties. That's a lot. The truth is, there's a good chance you will not leave this course knowing every single detail, because that would be crazy. Oh my goodness, that would be so much learning. You might, but that's not necessarily an expectation that you memorize all of that. Plus, memorization doesn't even necessarily mean understanding. Anyway, I digress. What I do want to say is that with all of these things that I just mentioned, what does matter is that we understand how history is represented or represented. Every representation is a chosen presentation of something, a chosen creation of something. So we're going to actually be taking a look at how do historians pose certain issues. How can we, as learners, as people, as citizens, as individuals, how can we synthesize and understand the information? So this course is going to promote a lot of critical thought. It's going to be sometimes difficult. You're going to say, what the heck are you asking here, Mr. M? And in that circumstance, what do? You set up a meeting with me and we talk about it. This is student-led learning in many ways. I do not want you to necessarily be just looking and thinking, what does Mr. M want me to think, Mr. McCorquodale-Bauer want me to think? It's what do I think, what do I interpret? But just because it's student-led doesn't mean that it's student isolation. There's discussion posts that you get to bounce ideas off of one another as well. I'm here as a resource. Please set up meetings with me. Please email me through Brightspace if you're a student. If you're a parent and you have, or a guardian and you have any questions, through my SJASD account. But please communicate to me. I'm always here to help explain these concepts. Once again, it is a difficult course. We cover a lot of things. I ask that you critically evaluate everything. Critically evaluate why we're learning these things. Critically evaluate my lessons. Critically evaluate the Manitoba curriculum. These are all things that, this course is essentially about, using those 6 historical thinking concepts, that is such a cornerstone of this course. We are coming close to the 14-minute promise deadline. I think this is basically it. Parents, guardians, please email me. Do not be shy. This video will be coming to you through the email. You can always check class progress here. That will have your most updated grades. Generally, if you submit something, I'll get it back to you within 24 hours of the working day. Sometimes I'm on during weekends, but can't promise anything. But if you submit something on Monday at noon, probably by Tuesday sometime you'll get it back. If you submit something Friday at noon, probably sometime Monday, if it's a long weekend, Tuesday, you'll get it back. I'm really looking forward to working with each and every single one of you. I'm sure I missed something that's super important, but let's pretend I didn't. And, as questions come up, you can email me. And like I say, this introduction lesson goes through so much, it will, answer anything that I didn't already answer, hopefully. Best of luck. And I'm looking forward to learning with each and every single one of you.